Alright guys, the next concept that we will discuss about business environment. Business environment guys is broadly classified into micro and macro. But before this, you may ask me a question again like, sir, already we discussed about internal and external. Then what are we again discussing micro and macro? Internal and external environment are from the perspective of what environment is. For a firm, there could be certain things that are internal, there could be certain things that are external. That is how we categorize there. That is general for a firm. But which factors are small, which of those factors are wider? Sometimes some internal factors, the strength and weaknesses, these are not visible everywhere. Right? But out of those factors that we saw, economy, political, socio-cultural, legal, customers, suppliers, some of them are smaller factors that influence, some of them are bigger factors that influence. So from each business's perspective, what are those factors that influence them? I want everybody to look at topic number 10, where business environment is classified into micro environment. Guys, it is such an important topic here. This is also, something that the examiners don't miss. Elements of micro environment and elements of macro environment. There are 6 in each of those, and one of them have always featured in the exam. 6 elements in micro environment. Write a short note on elements of micro environment is a question, because all the 6 factors here are very small ones, easy to explain. Macro environment, each factor itself is very big. So each one itself by nature a short answer question. So first we will understand what are there in each of those, so that we can go and discuss each of them, right? Micro environment, guys, remember sometime back we did discuss about the circles the external environment had. What are the 5 factors that you saw in the immediate circle? Suppliers, buyers, that is customers and suppliers. Rivals, substitutes, new entrants, all together are called as competitors. So 3 factors we can pick up from there. What are those? Buyers, suppliers and competitors. Do you think other organizations or our own organization is the surrounding that we have? Our own employees are there? Do we have employees in our surrounding or not? We have to take care of our employees properly. If we don't take care of our employees properly, then it is important for us to, then it's a very important influencing factor. Your employees are not motivated, you may not achieve your goal. Right? So, we have to take care of certain factors. Let me give you one small word. Right? That's a small acronym to remember all the 6 factors. Right? Cosmic, you have 6 factors which are very much immediate and close in the micro environment that can influence a business. Customers or consumers. Guys, is there a difference between both these? Customers and consumers, is there a difference? Somebody who buys the product is called a customer. Somebody who ultimately uses it is called a consumer. O for organization, S for supplier, M for market. That's a very important immediate surrounding to whom you sell is your market. I is through whom you sell, intermediaries. And the last C is for competitors. I think customers, suppliers and competitors, somebody who you already know. What is the organization? Who are the set of people who are working? In organization again you will have top level, the board of directors, then you have managers, then you have employees. So organization is further classified into 3 levels. We will see that also. Then what is the market that we are talking about? Market is a much broader term than the term customers. Customers are individuals. Right? When market you are talking about a whole thing. Who are intermediaries? How do they help us get our product to the market? That is also something that we need to see. Right? And then we are moving on to the other side where we are discussing about broader environment. What is the broader environment that we are discussing? Right? Macro environment. Here also there is a framework to analyze this. Right? It is called a PESTLE framework or PESTLE analysis. Right? 6 points that we are talking about: political, economic, socio-cultural, technological, legal and environmental. Guys, in this environmental, we are classifying 2 more factors in macro. demographic environment. Demography, which we will take up as the first part of macro environment in the next segment when we study this demography. Then we are also talking about going global. Global environment, where the entire world is considered as one market. The concept of global village is brought in. So those concepts are discussed here, much broader factors. So this is what micro and macro environment has supposed to be discussed, right? Let's see some of the factors, guys. Come to topic number 10. We will talk about micro and macro environment. The environment of a business can be categorized into underline two broad categories, micro and macro environment. This classification is relevant to all, into components and sectors, help an organization to cope with its complexity, comprehend the different influences operating and relating the environmental changes to its strategic management process. Different bases of classification have to be adopted or have been already. As discussed earlier, we have already discussed that there are two types of influences, right? What are those? Underline two types of forces. Some of these are external to the firm, while where we have a very little control, we can't do anything. Where some of them are pretty much within the organization and it can be controlled. Hence you can see them being classified into micro and macro environment and the factors in there, right? We will discuss all those factors in detail. Let's have a quick read about what is micro environment and macro environment, and then we will go to the elements. Micro, underline, is relatively a small area or immediate periphery of the organization. It influences, underline, regularly and directly. Micro environment consists of suppliers, consumers, marketing intermediaries. These are specific to the set business of the firm and affects working on a short-term basis. Within the micro environment the firm operates, we need to address the following issues. Acha, what are those? Point number 1. Who are the employees of the firm? Their characteristics, and underline how they are organized, that is organization of the employees. This one, guys, is very important. If you don't put the right person in the right place, you might not get the job done. So that's very important for you to put the right person in the right place. 2. The customer base on which the firm relies for business. Customers are taken care. The ways in which firm can create finance. Guys, as financial management students, you know what are the two ways in which a firm can raise finance? Debt and equity. Its own funds you can bring, right? Or it can go and borrow. Debt and equity are the two sources of finance. You know that. Next point. Who are the firm's the suppliers? Underline suppliers. Who are the firm's suppliers and how are the links between the two developed? The local community within which the firm operates, underline, and the direct competition and how they perform. This is the immediate periphery that you need to bother about. Then talk about macro environment. These are not under your control. These are much broader factors which you don't have control on, like government, political situation, the population, right? Let's see these. Underline has broader dimensions. The macro environment has broader dimensions. It mainly consists of economic, technological, political, legal and socio-cultural. Underline all those. Macro environment consists of demographic, socio-cultural, political, technological. They constitute the general environment which affects the working of all the firms, not just you. They affect all of you, all the firms that are working here. The issues concerning an organization are, how is each organization bothered here, what is that they are doing? Now this time we will be talking about bigger factors, not like in micro where we talked about small points. The first one, who are their threats in the competitive world? So which competitor do you feel is a very strong influence on you? Who are the threats in the competitive world in which they operate and why are they your threats? That's an important question. Which areas of technology might pose a threat? Underline, which areas of technology might pose a threat to their current product range and why? The bargaining power of suppliers and customers. The type of competition that they are facing and the perceived threats and what are their weaknesses. So all bigger factors are being analyzed, guys. What are the types of competition that you face, right? And how does it influence you? How does it matter to you all that? Right? So to understand whether you are hit by micro environment or macro environment, should you study the environment or not? Guys, are you understanding what you're supposed to do? We have to scan through the environment. This process of understanding your micro and macro environment is called environmental scanning. Can everybody read that small paragraph that talks about environmental scanning before we go further? Come on, read up what is environmental scanning. We will go to micro and macro discussion once you read that. Environmental scanning, which is also known as environmental monitoring, underline, what is it guys? Is a process of, yes, underline, gathering information regarding company's environment, analyzing it and forecasting the impact of all predictable environmental changes. Successful marketing depends largely on, underline, how a company can synchronize its marketing program with the environmental changes. That's what it is all about. Right? So let's go to this side guys and discuss what are the 6 factors and understand what micro environment is all about. Put 2 stars to this particular question. One of the favorites of the examiner, elements of micro environment. Micro environment is which is your immediate periphery, so the work happens very quickly, right? So this is also known as task environment, where tasks are done, where work is done. It is called what environment? Task environment. See there. This is also known as task environment and affects business and marketing in the daily operating level. When the changes in the micro environment affect the business in the long run, they affect the micro environmental changes are noticed immediately. Underline macro, underline long run. Put an arrow mark from macro to long run. From macro, put an arrow mark to long run. Underline macro, underline long run. Micro, underline immediate. Micro factors affect you immediately, while macro factors affect you in the long run. Organizations have to closely analyze and monitor all the elements of the micro environment in order to stay competitive. If you don't, somebody else will take it. Understood? Let's understand all the 6 factors guys, 6 of which, 3 of which are already something that you know. You know who are customers, you know who are suppliers, you know who are buyers. What we need to learn newly is organization, intermediary and market. Chalo, anyways, we will read everything, all 6, don't worry. Chalo, first of which, is there a difference between customer and consumer? Can you tell me once again, who is the customer? The person who is buying the product is called? Then who is the person who is consumer? Find out that word and underline now. According to Peter Drucker, guys, this is one of the most important lines that you need to remember forever as long as you are in business. After becoming chartered accountant, if you start up your own practice, then, or if you are going into any business, then, or wherever it is, you are handling any client for any organization, let it be anything. Peter Drucker's one of the fundamental things that you need to remember for the rest of your life is that the idea of business is never to make profits. Profit or loss is a outcome. Very good. Then what is the idea of business? According to Peter Drucker, the aim of business is to create and retain customers, and this will hold the key till the end. Our complete idea is to what? Create and retain customer. If you create a customer and retain him, he will keep doing business with you only. And the more he does business with you, the more is your profit. A very, very simple rule. Understood? Create and retain customers. Don't bother about profit. That will come automatically. Get it? See there. Customers are people. Acha, what do? Who pay money to acquire an organization's products. The products, underline, what are the 2 forms of products guys? Either there will be physical goods or sometimes you can take services. The organizations cannot survive without customers. Very good. They will cease to exist. Customer, underline, may or may not be. Guys, this could be a true or false question in the exam. Such a simple 2 marks. Customer may or may not be the consumer. Yes, absolutely. Why? Because not every time the customer buys a product, he is the one who is using it. Check out the example. Customer is the one who buys a product, whereas underline consumer is the one who ultimately consumes or uses the product or service. A father may buy a product as a customer for his daughter. Now don't ask me why only daughters. Daughters are very sweet. A father may buy a product for as a customer. So father is buying the product, so he is the customer. While in case of the daughter, who will be the consumer? So is there a difference between who is buying and who is using it? Yes. So if a father is buying a notebook for the child to use, the father is a customer for the notebook, while it is given to the child when it goes to the school. So the child becomes the consumer. Simple point. A consumer occupies a central position in the marketing environment, because always you need to satisfy the needs. You are all economic students. You understood how important taste and preferences are. The taste and preferences are constant or they are changing? They are dynamic. They are ever changing, infinitely dynamic. They are always changing. So there is nothing called a stable market. Market by nature itself is unstable, right? Market by nature itself is completely unstable. There is nothing called a stable market, because the taste and preferences are obviously something that continue to change. So that is why we need to understand and closely monitor and analyze what? The changes in underlying consumers' taste and preferences and their buying habits. Who are the customers and consumers? What are they looking for in your product? And what are their buying patterns are something that you need to analyze. That's your first set of things that you need to understand. Then look at point number 5, guys. We will come back to the other points because we are reading something that we know. So now we know customer. We will talk about supplier. Point number 5. Supplier form an important component of micro environment, obviously, because they are the ones who are giving us raw material. If they are not there, we can't start anything further. The supplier underline provide us raw material, equipment, services and so on. Large companies rely on, underline, literally hundreds of suppliers to maintain their production. Suppliers with their own bargaining power affect the cost structure of the industry. They constitute a major force which shapes competition in the industry. Guys, if the supplier is selling you at a higher price, will your final cost of production go up or not? So what you price, will it be higher than the others or not? So your supplier is a key influencing factor on your pricing. If you are having a very good hold on your supplier, very good relation with the supplier, can you get raw materials at a cheaper cost? The moment you get raw material at a cheaper cost, that means the cost of production comes down or not? So can you price a little lower than the others? That little price advantage, can it attract a lot of price sensitive people or not? That will be our strategy. Little later we will see all that. So right now just understand, supplier is a key figure in this whole concept, right? Also sometimes, did we discuss this department X's output can be department Y's input? We did discuss this in the past, right? See there. Also organizations have to take a major decision on, underline, outsourcing. What is outsourcing? Giving it to the others. Or in-house means what? Doing it by yourself. Organizations have to take a major decision on outsourcing or in-house production depending on the supplier's environment. Supplier is talking about very high cost, then you might end up doing it by yourself. So you know two people now. You know suppliers, you know customers. Who is that somebody else who already we know about? Competitors. Look at point number 2 now. We talk about competitors. Back to point number 2, guys. Competitors are the other business entities that compete for resources as well as markets. Basically the same thing what you are fighting for. Underline, competition shapes up the entire business. A study of competitive scenario is essential. A study of competitive scenario is essential for the marketer, particularly threats from the competition. Who are our competitors? What is their strategy? Acha? Hello, they are not asking what is your strategy. They are asking what is their strategy. How will you know what is the competitor's strategy? We will know our strategy. Sometimes we don't know our strategy only. What we will know? Competitor's strategy, no. Huh? So what is it? There is an analysis of competitors. That time I will remind you on how to figure out what are their strategies. Array, simple logic. If your competitor is putting up an advertisement, does it mean that they are coming out with a new product or not? So should you be alert to these situations? We will discuss in detail, 3rd chapter, don't worry. Who are our competitors? What are their business objectives and what are their strategies? See, some competitors may be there. Who is a competitor? Somebody who does the same business. Are they also doing the same aggressiveness as you are doing? They may be doing it. They may be more aggressive than you. They may be, sometimes competition is dull. So you don't really consider that as competition. Right? Like say, we're doing the competitors who's doing very less business. They are competitors because they suit the definition of competitor, they are competitors. Competitors, just because they suit the definition, they become competitors. But they need not intensify competition. Understood? The intensification of competition lies in what they actually are doing at what scale. So you bother about that. Competition underline may be direct or indirect. I want everybody to read this example very carefully. There's a very remote connection between the things that they told there. Can you read? Direct competition is between the organizations which are in the same business activity. That everybody knows. What the hell is indirect competition? Can you read that example given in the next point? Competition between a holiday resort and car manufacturing company. What the hell is the connection between both these? One is a car manufacturing company. One is a holiday resort. What is the connection? Read that. The answer is in that line only. Read it once again. Competition between a holiday resort and car manufacturing company for available discretionary income of customers is indirect competition. Guys, I am not talking about the income that I have to use it for. I am talking about that income which is discretionary, right? Which is discretionary. Discretionary means what? I can spend it on anything that I need. Are you understanding? I spend it on anything that I need. Guys, now somebody who is buying a car, should they pay their regular EMIs? Then where will they have the discretionary income to go to a resort? Of course, if somebody is earning more where they can plan both, that's amazing. Otherwise, I might cut down. In other words, they are trying to tell you, you might cut down one of your activities to suit something else. So in this case, though the car manufacturing company is not directly facing the competition from resort, sometimes if the resort is the plan of the person who has that money, he will go to the resort, then he will not buy the car. Are you understanding? The very remote connection. But the income that is available is what? Discretionary. So I can use it anywhere. So long indirect competition is also there. Three factors that you saw: customers, organization, suppliers. Right? Then the next one is about organization. What is organization, guys? Bringing a group of people together. And how many levels will be there? 3 levels. Top level having board of directors, middle level having managers, and the last level having the employees. That is what is given there. Let's see. Individuals occupying different positions or working in different capacities in organization consist of individuals who come from outside. They have different and varied interests. In microenvironment analysis, nothing is important than underline self-analysis by organization itself. Understanding its own strengths and capabilities in a business, that is understanding a business in depth, underline, should be the goal of a firm's internal analysis. The objectives, goals and resource availabilities of a firm occupy a critical position in the microenvironment. Underline, occupy critical position in microenvironment. An organization has several non-specific elements of the organization surrounding that may affect the activities. They consist of specific organizations or groups that are likely to influence a organization, Owners, board of directors, employees, all are your categories of people in the organization. Owners are people who are shareholders. Board of directors are appointed by the shareholders so that they can take care of the activities of the company. Employees are people who actually do the work. Check it out. Underline, owners are shareholders who have major stake in the organization. They have vested interest in the well-being of the company. Then who are board of directors? Board of directors are found in the companies which are established under the Companies Act. Board of directors, underline, are appointed by the shareholders. You know this, you have seen this, right? And what is their job? Their job, underline, is to oversee the general management of the organization to ensure that it is being run in a way that best serves the shareholders' interest. That best serves the shareholders' interest. Employees. Who are employees? Employees are the people who actually do work in an organization, and who actually do the work in the organization. Employees are the major force within an organization, and it is important for an organization that employees embrace the same values and goals. Guys, if each employee is working for a different goal of their own, will the organization as a whole achieve their objective? So all employees in the organization should work together for a same goal. See there. It is important for an organization that employees embrace the same values and goals as the organization. However, they differ in beliefs, education, attitudes and capabilities. When managers and employees work towards different goals, underline, everyone suffers. Management is thinking in what they want, employees are doing what they want, the organization is going in different direction, nobody is achieving anything. Because of which what is happening? Right? Because of which there is a gap. Understood? That's what is the point. So what are the three parts of the organization, guys? Owners, board of directors and employees. So we have team. Then what is this term market? Customer is an individual or a bunch of people? We are talking about individual. Market is a much wider term. Check it out. Underline, the market is larger than customers. Market is larger than customers. The market is to be studied in terms of its actual and potential size, its growth prospects and its attractiveness. How good a market is. Real estate is a good market or a bad market? Some of you are saying good market, some of you are saying can't say. Why? It depends on the situation. Very good. Sometimes real estate is in a boom. Real estate is a very attractive market, sir. Right now is the time for you to invest in a house or a plot or a land or whatever it is. Sometimes they say, sir, keep all your money safe. Don't invest in any real estate. The values will come down. So that is talking about market. Software market, right now is it good or bad? Right now the current situation of IT industry is very bad. Because US is withdrawing their support. India has always been an IT oriented countries, selling a lot of software, doing a lot of outsourcing work for the West. Right now they are all retaliating. So it's a very bad time for the IT industry. There was at one point of time a large boom of all this, right? So, the story goes up and down sometimes, it differs. Check it out. The marketer, therefore, underline, should study the trends and developments and the key success factors of the market he is operating in. Important issues to be studied are, what is the cost structure in the market, the price sensitivity of the market, technological structure in the market, the existing distribution system of the market, and most importantly, they need to understand, is the market mature enough to understand what product are you selling? Is the market mature one? Is it a new market? Like say smartphone market. Smartphone market was a very new market a few years before. Now it's a mature market. Everybody knows what a smartphone is and use. But when Apple Corporation came up with iPhone, people are quite surprised to see what is this. So that time it's a very new market and we don't know how people will react. Maybe at that time people didn't understand that concept and they didn't really get attracted at. Like that there are so many products which come and go. They come into the market, you don't even know that something came like that and it will exit the market also. So how good is the market? The market for daily use products like toothpaste, is it a new market or a matured market? It's a well established mature market. And tomorrow you want to start a toothpaste company, is it very easy to penetrate into the market or a little difficult? Not little, very difficult, because it's already a closed market. So many players are already there. So study the market very carefully before doing any of that. Last but the most important thing is bringing your product to the market. We've always heard this problem in India that a farmer is not, getting the right share of what he's supposed to get. Why? Because a farmer produces the produce at, let's say, 10 rupees. But when the same thing comes out to the market, it is costing us probably 30 rupees. Why? Because there are n number of intermediaries who you can call as agents, who you can call as brokers, who you can call as middlemen. So many names can be used to call all of these people. But these are people who ultimately help you bring the product to the market. Check it out. The last set of people in your micro environment are intermediaries who have a considerable influence on the business organizations. They can also be considered as the major determining force in the business. Guys, yes or no? Because Price variations will happen because of intermediaries or not? The more number of intermediaries, greater will be the price. In many cases, consumers are not even aware of who the manufacturer is. They buy products from local retailers or maybe like big departmental stores like Big Bazaar and Subiksha and Mega Mart and all that, not even knowing who the ultimate producer is. Do you know who the farmer is? Right, today you go to Reliance Fresh or Heritage Fresh somewhere and walk in and buy those fruits and vegetables. Do you even know who the farmer is? Right, there are n number of intermediaries and the farmer may be producing that at 10 rupees. Right, when it comes to Reliance Fresh, it may be sold at 30 rupees. Several number of people, are participating in bringing this product ultimately to the market. These are people who are called as intermediaries. Right now what we should try is to keep the intermediaries to the minimum so that the price of the product remains low. More number of intermediaries, greater will be the price. So these are your 6 immediate factors. These are your 6 immediate factors that you need to consider. Understood, guys? Once again, to wrap this segment of what is that we are discussing here, we are discussing business environment that can influence us, something where we talked about a micro environment and a macro environment, right? In micro we discussed 6 of the factors. What are the 6 factors? Come on everybody, what are the 6 factors? Customers, organization, suppliers, market, intermediaries and competitors. Cosmic being a small keyword to remember, right? We will discuss about macro environment in our next class to deal with what macro environment is all about, right? Alright, so we have